FreeForm Radio, everybody, on the FreeForm Network. You can follow us on Facebook at FreeForm Network, on Twitter at FFR Podcast. Remember to send us your questions, suggestions, your BS, money, to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Again, it's FreeForm Radio. I am one of your many hosts, Andy, and I have
Daniel.
And Danny, that was kind of slow, but we are here and mingling and trying to come up with info for your ears here. But one of the things here in Chicago has gotten cold, and I believe Danny's already feeling the Christmas spirit, not the holiday spirit, the Christmas spirit. And can you tell us what's going on in the Corral House with this Christmas spirit, Danny?
Heck yeah, man. A little behind the curtain here. We're at the start of November here, a couple of weeks into November. But us here at the Corral household, we already got our Christmas tree up.
What?
Yeah,
hey, hold on, man.
Up.
It's not even Thanksgiving yet. What the hell's going on over there?
Yeah, I know some people, they despise people that really put up Christmas, that start playing Christmas music until Thanksgiving is done with. It's almost like we're jumping a holiday there. But I don't know, man. It's like Christmas isn't long enough. Usually after the New Year's is the cutoff where you got to put your Christmas tree down and you got Christmas music is off the radio. So to me, it's just not enough time, man. 1 month is just not enough for the celebration of the Lord Jesus Christ, his birthday. So for me, I got to stretch it out, man. I got to give it a couple more weeks. And usually we do wait until like a week before Thanksgiving to put it up. But we were actually in need of a tree since we threw our one that we first got when we first got married, man. And we've been married for 12 years, so we had that tree for 10 plus years, and it finally blew out its last light, and we had to toss it out. So, yeah, since we bought a new tree a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, I don't want to log this thing all the way to the basement, put it away for a couple weeks, and then bring it all the way back up and bust my back. I'm like, I'm just going to leave it right here in the living room, and then we're just looking at it one morning, and we're just like, the hell with it. Let's put it up now. So our Christmas tree is up and running.
So who? I am one of those people who despise that everybody has, or the Christmas season. There's a sequence, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Now right. I am one of those people who despise Christmas music before Christmas season. So going back to this, so you're telling me you guys put up the tree just because it was there and you're like, let me just get one less chore done and let me put this motherfucker up?
Right. So it was pure laziness.
It wasn't
that drove this.
Feeling the Christmas spirit. It's like, hey, this tree's out here. Fuck it. Let me just put it up right away. So one less thing to do after Thanksgiving.
Well, that was about like 10% of the decision making. The rest was I didn't want to carry this thing downstairs and back up. I mean, it's a pretty heavy tree, man. We bought the first tree that we had was about a 7-footer, artificial, pre-lit. I think we bought it at Kmart back when Kmart was a thing. Now you can't find one.
Huh? What's that?
Yeah, I know. But man, it did us good, man. It lasted a long time. We always put it back in the box, and it was, man, it would light up like nothing. In fact, I think it was one of those. What's that chick's name? Martha Stewart.
The one
Martha Stewart tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was one of her trees. So, man, it rocked, man. It was a nice tree. It was kind of full. It was tall because it was like a 7-footer. So it had that Christmas vibe to it, because you kind of saw that, Christmas cheer and how big it was and how full it looked. So it was always something that we enjoyed putting up as a family. When it was just me and Alana, and then when Junior was born, he always got a kick out of putting it up as well. So, yeah, man, when that one bit the dust, it was kind of sad to see it go, but we kind of pulled it through the last couple Christmases, putting some extra lights on it because a couple sections wouldn't light up anymore, and I got tired of looking for that one bulb that was out to light up this whole section of the tree. So we just started wrapping it with extra strings of lights, kind of limping it along, and finally got to the point where this is more work than it's worth. Let's get rid of it and get a new tree. So yeah, man, got a new tree at this time Costco because there's no more Kmart's. I went looking and I couldn't find a Kmart anywhere, so I bought one at Costco this time.
Well, that's the other thing. So you guys brought it down and like, let's put it up, and then I can't believe your wife didn't give you crap. Like, nah, man, it's too early. Like, let's just hold on a couple more weeks. I'm still amazed. Like, it's like, this early in November, you guys got the tree up.
Yeah, no, she's even worse than me. I like Christmas music. I like we've been playing it through the house. We got Alexa in the house. She's always listening to us. So we're like, hey, while you're eavesdropping on us, can you play some Christmas music? And she just starts popping it, man. And so,
what does Alexa play?
If you ask for Christmas music, she kind of hesitates and then says, I'm going to play holiday favorites. And I'm like, no, I said Christmas music. And then she plays holiday favorites anyways. But
you're like, in this house, we say Christmas, Alexa.
But it's cool, man. She could call it holiday music because that music, to me, I like it. I enjoy it. And I could listen to it for 2 months plus. I like it that for you people in the Chicagoland area, Light FM is playing it already. They already started up their Christmas music station, so they're playing Christmas music. And back to your original question about Alana, she's even worse than me, man. She's the one that really digs Christmas. She must have had rich parents when she was growing up, and they gave her everything, so she really loves it. To me, I have a fondness for it, but I kind of have a couple bad memories where I wouldn't get what I wanted, but it sufficed to just be with my family and stuff. So, but no, yeah, man, we enjoy Christmas. We enjoy celebrating it, putting up the nativity set, putting up all the little trinkets, and also my family, me, my wife, and Junior, we have a tradition of buying Christmas ornaments every year. So we buy one like custom made special ornament, not just a typical round ball or whatever, and hanging it up on the tree. We buy something unique, a White Sox ornament, an Elvis ornament one year. Junior bought a pinball ornament one year, and just every year we pick out something unique, and then hang it up on the tree, and it's the Christmas ornament, the new Christmas ornament for the year.
So you guys have all these traditions, and then you put the Christmas tree up. Then you're listening to Christmas music, and then you go buy a new Christmas ornament.
Right.
So when is it cool to start watching Christmas movies? Do you, or you guys don't like them? Because my wife she loves the Hallmark Channel's Christmas movies. Like, they've been playing them for like the last 3 weeks, and I'm like, no thanks. But does your family have a particular Christmas movie besides the classics that they're already out there? Like one, we gotta watch it, or is it too early for you to start watching, or the family to watch the Christmas movies?
We haven't watched one yet, but you're right. There is movies that we watch like every Christmas. And I think we kind of mentioned this once in a podcast.
Yes,
but
yeah, the top 10 Christmas movies.
Christmas movies, but we like watching the Christmas Story. We like watching the Home Alone movies. Die Hard.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yes, man, that's nice.
Even though some people don't think it's a Christmas movie, but anything with a Christmas theme in the background, hey, that counts as a Christmas movie to me. I think there's a couple Charles Bronson's movies in Christmas, but I gotta find them.
Charles Bronson, this is new to me, man.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got one in there, man. Or maybe even Steven Seagal. They all got tons of movies. I'm sure there's one in there with a Christmas theme that I gotta pull into my rotation of Christmas movies. But yeah, typically those are the movies that I watch. A good Home Alone, a good even old school ones like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Frosty the Snowman. I pull those in every now and then, but usually, yeah, it's the Home Alones, the Christmas Story, and a Die Hard. We try to watch every Christmas.
Has Junior watched like the old black and white ones, like Miracle on 34th Street or anything like that, or he has no idea what that is?
No, I don't think he's ever seen it. At least I've never seen it with him. They're okay movies. I remember them as a kid, but I haven't seen it since I was probably a younger kid. So I don't know if it would hold up or if it holds the same fondness. It's probably something cool to probably check out and see if Junior even cares for it, even though I think Miracle on 31st Street or 16th Street or whatever street it was on.
34. And they remade it.
Was it 34th?
34th.
Okay. I don't know if it was on like Cermak or something. I don't know what street he was on. But yeah. But it's kind of dialogue heavy, so I don't really know if he would care for it until maybe he got a little older and kind of.
He needs that CGI, man.
Yeah, he needs a little bit of action and some kind of excitement in it. Some kind of goofball running around trying to get a Christmas present kind of theme. I don't know if he would handle the dialogue heavy of the is Santa real kind of thing. So. But maybe it's something cool to check out. Maybe I'll show it to him and give you guys some feedback as to whether a 9-year-old enjoys the 34th Street Christmas.
Miracle on 34th. Miracle.
All right. I was trying to make it ghetto.
They will come with the urban Christmas. That's what they need, an urban Christmas movie. Well, there is. It was Friday. The last Friday, remember that Santa Claus is rubbing around stealing the hood? You should watch that one and see what Junior thinks.
Right, man. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I only saw the first 2 Fridays, so I gotta check that one out.
That is a Christmas movie now that I'm thinking about. You should watch that one.
Yeah,
watch it with the family and give us a review.
I'll see if I could bring it into the rotation. But just really quick, the other thing that I'm kind of into right now is playing Red Dead Redemption 2 for the PlayStation. Came out a few weeks ago, and I've been playing it, man, for sure.
So yeah, I know there's a lot of hype around it. I've seen clips of it. It's like a massive world. How much have you done, or what's your take on it?
Yeah, I've been to me, usually when I play big world, open world games like this, I tend to try to stick to side missions as much as I can to try to consume all of that, and then I hit the main story missions to beat that at the very end. So this game, I've been doing a lot of the side missions, and I'm just about finished with all the side missions that are available at this point. I'm in what the game calls Chapter 2. I heard there's 5, 6, 7 chapters, something like that. I've been trying to stay spoiler free, so I haven't really gone on the internet to see any kind of walkthroughs and see how many chapters there are. But last time I checked my percentage clock, I was at about 10%, and I've played it for, maybe about 12 hours, and I'm barely 10% of the way through. So it's a pretty meaty game for sure.
Have you done the mission where you get to pet the dog or something?
I did do that one. I'll try to find the hot coffee one, but I can't find that one yet.
That's what I need to see. Is there a one where you could you run a saloon with a whorehouse?
There is a whorehouse, but I haven't had that mission. Run it. I haven't had that mission when I run them, and I'm have to raise my pimp hand or anything like that. So far, you visit them, but it's funny, man. I think because of all the hot coffee for you people, GTA hot coffee scandal or whatever that happened a few years ago.
That was San Andreas, right?
Yeah, I think it was San Andreas.
Yeah.
For this game, it's like they almost went the opposite way, or at least so far in Chapter 2. when you do walk into a saloon and you get a couple shots at the bar, girls come up to you and they're like, "Hey, do you want to have a good time?" And the only two options that you have is like politely say no, or deny them or something like that. So it's either like kind of be nice and be like, "Oh, not right now," or be like, "Get out of my face, you stink," um, or whatever, you know. So those are your only two options. So I thought it was kind of weird. I'm like, how come there isn't an option to, like, yeah, go have a good time, and then maybe not show it, because it's a video game and with all the hot coffee stuff. But that's not even an option. Or at least not yet, as far as I've gotten through the game. But just quickly to me, the game, it's huge. It's a lot of stuff to do. Sometimes a little too realistic, to the point where it becomes a chore. Like I didn't want to take the tree downstairs because I didn't want that chore. And this game, if it was up to him, it would make me take the tree downstairs. That's the kind of stuff that you run across during the game.
What? What do you mean? There's some games or some missions that are just like a bore, or they're just they're repetitive or something?
No, it's more like it's more like a chore. Like an example, your horse, you actually gotta feed it, you gotta clean it, you gotta keep it clean, you gotta it's like in its daily tasks. So as you're riding your horse and you're kind of whipping it to kind of go faster, you'll get prompts that'll tell you, hey, you're wearing down your horse, you might want to take a break and feed your horse and clean it. And then the horse starts bucking you if it gets too dirty and you don't clean it. And same thing for your character. His name's Arthur, I think. And it's the same thing. You got to go eat. You got to bathe. You gotta shave. And at your camp, you got to do chores there as well. You got to cut wood. You got to feed the horses by giving them all the horses by giving them hay bales. Then you got to fill the troughs with water so that the horses get to drink, and so people could take showers. So it's like all of these little jobs that you got to do. You got to bring food back to the camp. Otherwise, people start complaining like, hey, there's nothing to eat. Can you go hunt a deer and go kill this? So it's like all of these little chore things and things that you got to do. And all you're thinking about is like, man, I just want to go rob this bank and go make this money, or go help out this person that's asking me for help. And while you're doing that, your horse is over there neighing, going, hey, man, when are you going to feed me? Or you pass by somebody and they're like, "Foo, you stink. When are you going to take a shower?" So that's, it's like, if you don't, I mean, you could if you wanted to, but it's like the daily things that you got to do just to keep the game running. Otherwise, in the background, it gives you prompts and it gives you, suggestions to like, hey, you might want to get this taken care of, so that you can progress normally in the game. Otherwise, people will react to your dirty horse. Like when I got my horse clean and pristine and I'm walking around the town, people are just like, man, that's a beautiful horse. And if you walk around, both. I don't know if they see it swinging and they're like, damn, that's a nice horse.
If you got the horse and the chick's like, hey, you got a big horse there, and you're like, yo, let's go check it out at the camp.
Can
you do that?
Yeah, there's constantly stuff like that where people are commenting about your appearance. You gotta wear clothes and constantly change outfits. I mean, if you're wearing something kind of lower class, then people reflect on that, and if you wear something a little more pristine, then people comment on that. So the NPCs, the non-playable characters in the games, they're constantly talking and having dialogue back with you and letting you know how you look, how you're playing the game, and so forth. So not knocking it, but it is work. So it's not the kind of game where you just go and play. Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, it sounds like if it's tedious like that, like sometimes you just want to go fuck shit up and be done. But if you gotta be showering, bathing, feeding the horse, it's like, man, I don't know.
Yeah, if you lose your horse and he's out in the wilderness and you run away or do something and you get too far, your horse is gone forever. If your horse dies, forever? your horse is dead forever. He doesn't respawn. He doesn't come out of nowhere. It's like real life consequences. If a character dies in the game, he is dead forever, and the game progresses and keeps going. So it is really much cemented, not in real life, because obviously, you know, you're shooting people, you get a bounty, and then you go pay it, and they just let you walk around like nothing happened. So it's still a video game, but there is a lot of real life aspects to it. So
can you break a horse, or can you get like a wild horse and you have to break them?
Yeah. The horse I got right now, you get to name him whatever name you want. I named mine White Knight, because I went into the rocky portion of the games in the snow, and he blends in so much with the snow because its coat is like completely white, but it's supposed to be like the best free horse that you can get. So I jumped on it, I tamed it, and now it's my horse, and it's supposed to be the best free horse that you could get without paying, because the other thing is a lot of things cost currency in the game, and it's expensive, man. To go get like a loaf of bread, it's like 20 cents, and after doing all these things, I barely got like $50 in my pocket, and I'm like, damn, man, do I want to waste, you know, a quarter buying a loaf of bread when you know, I got to pay for this other stuff, or I want to get this better gun or get this better gear, and now you're struggling to feed your camp and do all these things, keep your horse maintained, and all you got is $50 in your pocket. So it's difficult, man, at times, and it becomes a little bit of a chore. Yeah. That's probably the next chapter, man, paying your taxes and paying rent. But yeah, man, I don't want to down talk it too much. I'm kind of the last few minutes just kind of ranting on all the stuff that's a little tedious, but don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. I've been playing it for the last couple of weeks, and it's something I'm hoping to continue to do and continue to play and probably finish it, at least the story all the way, because I am enjoying it, even though it's a little bit of work.
You're not the first guy. The first guy to say that. That's I've heard it from some other people too. That the other person is like, I wake up and I got to do all these chores so they could do all their stuff. So that's one of the things I've read, and I've heard people say that it's not tedious, but it's very, very like normal day-to-day stuff in there, or something with the showering and all that other stuff.
Right. But I do enjoy it, and I do recommend it for anybody that likes those open world kind of games. I'm going to continue playing it, and hopefully I'll let you guys know when I beat it, which will probably be in a couple of months with the size of the game that it is. But jumping to you, Andy, which probably is something that'll take a little shorter because it's not that long. Star Trek Discovery, man. I heard you started watching it, that CBS show that's kind of behind that paywall. How are you liking the show, and where are you up to on it?
We're on right now. They're in I don't know if it's officially the Mirror Universe, spoilers. So it's like episode 9 or 10, I think. Because me and my wife, she's kind of I don't want to say I'm kind of shocked. She likes Star Trek a lot, and she's been talking about wanting to watch Discovery for a while. And finally, I was able to find it on one of the websites I like and put it on the TV. And we've been watching it, and it's all over the place. That's all I'm gonna say. There's a couple good episodes, and then I feel like they're just like all over the place. I heard people on the internet call it Star Trek diversity because there's so many characters, so many multicultural characters, and it's not, from how I know Trek, I don't feel it's completely Trek. You know, they talk about how it's the ship they're on is an exploration ship, but they're like fighting Klingons and stuff. So that's my only issue right now, and I don't like the lead character. Again, with the fucking Vulcans and some humans raised on Vulcan and shit, like it's kind of cliche. But otherwise, I do like the captain of the Discovery. I can't think of his name right now. I do like him, but you're starting to see like he's not like he has a not to say a conscience, but he's all like we got to win this war, you know?
Yeah, I do like the main captain, or at least the second captain.
Yeah, the second
Um,
captain.
the second captain in the show. I think he's very mysterious. He's kind of like a good guy, but he really doesn't give a shit. So I really like that dynamic of that character. But I'm kind of with you, especially with all the diversity comments. Uh, there's a lot of women in there, which doesn't bother me so much. But it doesn't bother me. I don't want people to think that I'm crapping on women, but it's different.
But you are.
It's different. No, it's just different. It's something where it like stands out to you. Kind of like when you watch the new Star Wars movies. It's like women are like all over the place. That to me, it's kind of like it's like in your face.
Warrior, SJW stuff, which is cool, and the doctor who's having in a relationship with the guy. I can't think. I can't see.
Yeah, the
I'm
two
watching,
gay characters.
Yeah, the two gay characters, and they're having a relationship, and all I see is the Hispanic guy. All I know him is like, dude, that's my so-called life gay guy. And every time I seen that guy in a TV show, he's the token like Hispanic black guy, or Hispanic gay guy, and it's just like, well, yeah, he's gay, and then he started talking to the other guy. That's all I know him from, and I'm just like, this whole relationship, like I don't, not that I don't understand it. To me, like, there's no. He's like a doctor. That's his patient. He already cares for him. The whole relationship aspect of it, I'm like, even if it was just a guy and a woman, like, it doesn't make sense. And then the redheaded lady, the cadet, she has like, I feel like there's no purpose to her, and she's like, I want to be a captain. Oh, I'll show you. And then be captain your own way. It's like, come on, this is kind of corny right here, man. And but the stuff with the Klingons is kind of cool. I didn't feel the religion aspect of it. They're almost trying to make them like our Messiah or our God said to do. We got to start conquering again. But overall, it's watchable. It's Trek. It's watchable, but we binge watch like a bunch of shows, and I'm like, we gotta take a break because this shit's getting cliche. Like, I'm not. It started off with like a couple good episodes, and now it's just getting to the episode of the week kind of feel for me,
Right. You're starting to figure out the beats of the TV show.
Right. Like, oh, here we go.
I dug it. I thought it was a good show. I watched it all the way to the end, and to be honest, I can't wait for season 2 to start, which I think it's going to be soon. I dug it. Even though to me it's like really in your face with this, like you said, like this new social aspects of society now, where there's got to be X amount of gay characters, there's got to be X amount of women characters, there's got to be X amount of ethnic characters, which to me it's fine, but it's like so abundant that to me it's like overkill. It's like we went the opposite way. People were complaining, how can you have a white guy playing a Chinese character like in that
the Chan,
what's that the Chan, Bruce Lee, the Bruce Lee character that he was going to try to get, but he's like, I walk the world, Kung Fu, like something like that, where it's like it shows you the inequalities that there are in Hollywood, where predominantly white males were getting all the roles for everything, even for characters that weren't white, they were getting those roles. But to me, it's like so much the other way. It's like the pendulum swung 100% the other way. And so instead of creating this somewhat equality or somewhat of a more natural state to me, where there's a mix of everything, but not an overabundance of one thing. So that's my only gripe with it. It's so in your face that it's in the forefront instead of being somewhat in the background, and let the Star Trek universe be at the forefront. Let that, play out in the front. But
Well, yeah,
I liked it.
Star Trek's always had like social commentary on what's going on in today's society, from the 60s to hell, even on Enterprise they dealt with some issues. Deep Space Nines, they had issues too with with religion and like oppression of certain like species and stuff. But this one is just like I can watch it. I do want to see the whole season, and like there's just some characters like I just feel like they have no purpose. Like the character with Dwight from The Office, Mud, or I forgot what his name is in the show.
Right.
Like, so he finds him in the prison, spoilers, people, and the captain, and he, like, okay, it's a one-off, right? Like, he's gonna be, and then he comes back with some, like, goofy turn back time crap. I'm like, what's his whole purpose? Oh, he's just gonna sell this information to the Klingons from who were supposedly torching him or had him in jail. Like, it just did not make any fucking sense to me. And I'm like, what? This guy has no. And then they catch him and then they just give him back to his wife or fiance. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, this shit does not make sense to me.
Yeah, that episode that you're talking about, it was a little unique because they had that groundhog sting where it kept flashing back and kept flashing back, which I thought was kind of funny, but at the same time the stakes were really high because people kept dying, so it was like a tenseful, suspenseful kind of episode. But then, like you said, at the end, the ending was kind of comedic and it was kind of really lighthearted, and I was just like, this is a weird way to end this episode.
Like,
so
yeah,
I had that same feeling.
I'm getting bored of killing you, but I'm gonna kill you again. Like, yo, man, this shit didn't make sense, And I don't know. Like I said, I'm pot committed. Like I always say, I want to see the rest of the season because we watch so much of it, and I'm ready to finish it up, but I'm not excited about it. I'm not looking forward to I'm more looking forward, like, I want to see how they end up the season because I want to see where they're going to go for season 2. And I have some of the background on, I'm more intrigued on what's going on in the background because I've seen some stuff on it. They're like, this Discovery is not going to have Picard, you're not going to see Spock and all this crap, and I've seen some spoilers that Spock does show up at the end of the season, and you do see the Enterprise, and it's I heard Pike comes out, so I think they're just trying to get more viewers to sign up to this thing because it's not going how the CBS All Access is not working out for Paramount how they wanted it to work out. So now they're just grasping at straws,
Right. Like you mentioned, it's behind a paywall. It's like behind the CBS version of Netflix where they have all their content. So maybe the subscribers aren't what they feel it should be. So maybe it's time to bring out all the guns and start bringing Spock and Captain Kirk and whatever else they need to do. But I liked it. I liked it. It's different, but I like the new tech that they have. I like the cinematography. I think it's a pretty decent show. I don't think it's a next generation, but it's definitely something that I'm hoping to continue to watch.
Another thing, one of the reasons I haven't been able to finish watching that first season is because I took my wife to her first Bears game, and just needless to say, my poor wife has never really been a sports fan of anything. And since she's married me, she's like, you watch so many sports. And I was able to procure some tickets through her job, and so we went ended up going to the her first Bears game. They played Detroit, so it was a rivalry game. So I was kind of excited to take her. Also, the whole process of getting to the game was also challenging for us because we live about an hour away. So for my situation, every time I go to downtown, I'm always got to take public transportation because that is the most easiest way to move around town. So we took the bus. You pick it up here locally, out here in the suburbs. You it drives into the city. So the whole leading up to the game, we were waiting at the bus stop. We were all bundled up, and we got on the bus. And needless to say, there was a lot of old people there, and it kind of made me feel old. But we had a good time chatting up with some of these older people. We get to the game. We get our skate. We hang out around Soldier Field, mingling with the local Chicago Bears fan base, and needless to say, it was a pretty. One of the things I've always hated about the Chicago Bears is their tailgating. It's not centralized in one area. It's like spread out throughout the whole parking area. There's like it's all over the place. And that's one of the things when you go to other places, you see the tailgating, and you see it, and you look at Chicago's setup, and it's kind of sad for being a big market. That's how it's set up. And so, yeah.
I was just gonna mention, were you on top of the space shuttle or were you down at the bottom by the main level?
So yeah, once we checked in, we go upstairs, and yeah, we were on the first row of the spaceship on the upper deck, so it wasn't too bad. My only thing was it was cold. We were good the first half. It was raining. It was sunny. The sun was on us, and it wasn't too shabby.
Right, because it was a noon game, right?
Yeah, it was a noon game. We got there. So needless to say, I bought beers, and I'm like, "You want some?" She's like, "It's too cold to drink." So after my like fourth beer that I drank, I had to go use the restroom. I had to go take a piss. So I'm like, I gotta get out of here before halftime. She's like, bring me back a hot dog. So I go and stand in line for like 20 minutes to go take a piss. So I take my piss, I wash my hands, and I'm walking out then, and there's a garbage can when you walk out of the bathroom, the men's bathroom. Right. There's a guy who was just hovering over the bathroom. What this guy was doing, he was pissing into the bathroom. And he was a Bears fan.
You gotta go. You gotta go.
Yeah, this guy was like shit-faced. And I go to him, damn, bro, they got like 40 urinals in here. And he looked at me and goes, huh? And then the guy behind me started laughing, and he just continued to piss. I'm like, should I record this? But I think he would have gotten upset. So in the meantime, I'm racing to get back. Then I'm like, oh shit, I gotta buy my wife her damn fucking hot dog. So I stand in line in one of the concession stands, checking my phone, and I waited there for like another 10, 15 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I finally get up to the front. I'm like, yeah, hot dog. And she's like, we don't sell hot dogs. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And she's like, you got to go down there. And I look at down there, there's a fucking mad line. I'm like, fuck this. I ain't buying my wife her hot dog. And I went and got
Gracie didn't get her hot dog?
No.
Shit, man.
And then I walking up, and she's looking at me, and I put my beers in the pocket. She's like, what happened? Like, I waited in line for 15 minutes, and they told me they don't sell hot dogs.
So, wow, man.
Yeah, she's pissed off.
I would imagine so. I know Alana would be pissed off, especially when she gets into that hungry phase where, like, I want a hot dog because I'm hungry. And if I come back without food, she'll probably bite my arm off.
So that's when I sneak out my beer, pop it open. She's like, "You got beer?" Like, yeah. The line was literally no line. So we didn't eat anything at the Bears game. I'm like, "Baby, I promise I'll make it up to you." And then she's like, "Well, we better eat in Shamrock because that's where you pick up the bus." And I had to take her out to Outback, and she got like the most expensive steak ever.
I bet, man. I bet she had to get some kind of payback. Now, you mentioned it got kind of cold towards the end, so the sun went down. How was the rest of the atmosphere there? Were the Bears fan into it? I know the Bears right now, they're pretty hot. They got some wins on them, and it looks like the Bears are going to be half decent this year. How was the ambiance? How was the other Bears fans?
Oh yeah, going to a Bears game. I've only been to like 5 Bear games in my life, and the entrance, the ambiance is pretty cool. We weren't really surrounded by drunks. That's a big issue you run into. But overall, it was good. The Bears won. That made it even better. I think the last 2 games I've been to, they lost, and I think one of them was with you. We went to a Packers game in December.
Right.
I think when Favre was still there, and I think they kicked their ass big time. But they won. There's also history. The fucking field goal kicker missed 4 field goals, 2-point after attempts, and 2 field goals, and they all 4 hit the uprights on the field goal bar, which you've never seen people miss a point after kick. You see once in a while, you see one, but to see 2, and then he misses 2 field goals, but all 4 of them hit the field goal post. I told my wife, man, you're seeing history, baby. I've never even seen this, and I've been watching football for like 30 plus years, you know?
Right. Yeah, I think it was the first time in history. You see a lot more extra points being missed nowadays because they pushed it back a little bit further back to make it a little more challenging for the kickers a couple of years ago. But yeah, to me, I couldn't believe it. I was watching it at home, the game, and when he missed the first extra point, and then he missed his first field goal attempt, and then he missed another field goal attempt, and then another extra point, and I was just like, and each time hitting that pole, I was just like, what the hell is going on? And even the announcers were like, I think this is the first time this ever happened, and then yeah, sure enough, it's the first time a kicker's ever missed that many field goal tries and then hit the pole every time. So it was history for sure.
But overall, she was happy. I was happy. The Bears won, and so yeah, if I could get tickets again, I would go. Especially when the Bears are winning, Chicago gets crazy. It's really a football town. And the other the other real quick, it's football. Notre Dame is undefeated. They're ranked 3rd as we speak on this podcast today. They got 2 more games left, so you might actually see them play for the championship. We're all hoping. It's been a long time coming for them. They haven't won a championship, national champion since '88 with Lou Holtz. They had 1 undefeated season with Brian Kelly. They got their asses handed to them by Alabama. So hopefully they'll do better. This team's a little bit better than that 2012 team. So we'll see how it goes for them because they got a shot, I think. If they play Bama, they might. Knowing how I watch football, I don't think they're going to beat them, but hopefully they can make it a fight,
So I'm a somewhat fan viewer of Notre Dame. I don't really watch too much of them. But how did they do last year? Were they contenders last year, or was it kind of
they were contenders.
Shit it down the toilet?
They were contenders until they got to November, and they got their asses handed to them 2 out of the 4 games against Miami, and the Miami game is what fucked them up. They got their asses beat. And so they fell out. This year, the winning in November's helped them out a lot. And physically, it's a much better team. If you look at them, they're bigger. The only problem with them, how I see them, is they're a little bit slow. But physically, they're huge. The offensive line is huge. Their defensive line is huge. They got huge receivers. They're just slow. They're fucking slow. The running back they got is huge, and he can like make people miss, but he's not gonna burn anybody. He's just they're stacked up like a Big Ten team. So they're huge guys. They're just slow. But their quarterback is pretty solid, and he's mobile, so that gives them a shot.
So is it the same quarterback from last year, or is this a new up-and-comer kid?
So, yeah, the one from last year, Winbush, he started the first 4 games, and he just can't throw to save his life. But the kid can run. So Kelly benched him and put in for this book. This guy's like a pure passer. He's accurate. He could sling it, and so that helped out. They went from scoring like 20 points to now they're averaging like 45 points a game, you know. So it's a big swing. That was a big coaching improvement. A coaching improvement that Brian Kelly did, and it made them contenders in my mind.
So do they still have the same coach as well as last year, or did they make any kind of changes as well?
Kelly's in there, and he's good to go. I don't think he's gonna go anywhere. He's having a winning record. He's the only thing he's left for him to do is win the championship, you know. So hopefully this is their year. But Bama has just looked freaking unbelievable, man. So it's a tough task for them.
But you said they're going to play Alabama?
So the college playoff is the top four teams at the end of the year play each other. So now it's Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Michigan. Notre Dame already beat Michigan. I believe they could beat Clemson. Alabama, they just been winning it, beating everybody, you know.
All right. But it sounds exciting, man. You're gonna have to let us know and definitely keep me apprised as to when this Alabama showdown will happen, because it's definitely probably something that I'm gonna want to watch, especially if it sounds as good as you're making it.
And for all you Notre Dame haters, you could eat a dick, man, because this is for real. But as you watch our college, you know, we watch a lot of football, and or when you're watching Star Trek Discovery, you know, you get a lot of, I don't know about you, Danny, but I do get a lot of robocalls and scammers calling you on your cell phone, you know?
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely get my share, especially with the midterms just passing by. I was getting tons of calls from lobbyists, people wanting me to vote for their candidates, the NRA, the this, the that. There was tons of calls, and, you know, this article for the week, it's concerning RoboKiller software. It's actually called RoboKiller, and it stops spammers, telemarketers, and really anybody that you want to put on your contact list. So if you're tired of CVS calling you, telling you that your prescription's ready, you could put them on your RoboKiller list, and this app will answer the call, spam them, keep them busy on the phone while a robot simulates you and wasting these people time. Did you get a chance to read the article, Andy?
Yeah, I just saw that it's when you first you recommended. I was listening to it and I was reading it, and I'm just like, the only thing that stuck out to me was you get the voice, and then it's $25 a year, and then the app it kind of has like they said that a fingerprinting technology to stay ahead, and it knows if they changes numbers, it's gonna know if it's the same people. It's kind of interesting, but you know, I think I would just like, man, I don't know who the fuck's calling me. I'm not answering.
Right, and that's usually my play too. You know, if I don't know the number, it could be somebody that I want to talk to. But if you're not on my contact list, if I haven't saved you on there, I usually screen you with my voicemail. If you really want to talk to me, you leave me a voicemail or text me. Otherwise, I just usually let it roll, and I don't pick up too many of those calls. But they do get annoying, man. They get annoying for sure. Like I mentioned, all these politicians with the midterms and the heated Democrats and Republicans trying to get reelected. I was getting calls daily, like 3 phone calls a day from people trying to get me to elect them.
Fucking then I call you all the time and you don't answer, man. Am I on this fucking robo killer list or what?
Hell yeah. Actually, no joke. Since we were going to talk about this article, I've actually downloaded the app and they got a free trial where you don't have to pay so you can try it out. And it's pretty funny, man. Some of the robot voices that you can pick, they sound really real. They adapt to the caller. So if the caller says something, the program is designed to recognize phrases and the way the conversation is flowing, and it will have an automated response. So if the caller is just like, "Hey, I'm looking for Suzanne," the robot will be like, "Yes, this is her." and so it keeps answering. It keeps answering it, and the whole point is that the robot killer will simulate you and waste so much of the telemarketer's time that they will give up and hang up. And they got a few samples in there that you can listen to, some like real conversations that telemarketers have had with this app. And man, it is pretty funny, man. You see these telemarketers lose their patience just because the way this robot keeps egging them on and keeps them going, to the point where they've been on the phone for like 7-10 minutes and the telemarketer just gives up and says, you know what, thank you very much, goodbye. So it's pretty funny, man.
Could you have the app simulate like if your dad would answer the phone or my dad back in the day?
There is different styles. There's like a drunk answerer where the person will act drunk, and then there's one where you can select it and it acts like there's an emergency in the background. There's one where you could select it where it simulates that there's a baby in the background, where you got a cold and you can't really speak, stuff like that. Or you're in court and you can't really talk too loud, so you got to talk really soft and stuff like that. So there's all these
that you might have a dick in your mouth or something.
I don't think it says dick in your mouth option, but it might imply that. I don't know. I didn't go through all the options
right now. Give me a second. Nothing like that. The telemarketer was like, "What the hell's going on, man? This is creeping me out."
Like I said, I only did the trial, so I don't know if that's the premium after you pay for the $25.
That's the $25 gets you the dick in the mouth option.
Probably. But I have yet to get you any kind of positive feedback as to have telemarketers stop calling me. But I did sign up for the free trial. I will chime back in after I know some more. But yeah, man, it's working. I haven't gotten any phone calls to my phone that are not people that I know that are in my contact list. So it's blocking them. It's stopping them. Supposedly it'll record any people that call you so you can hear it back and kind of hear the message that they leave for you. So if there's anything funny, for sure, man, I'll let you guys know.
There was when you were like, I'm going to give you the credit, Danny. You were one of the first persons I used to get these fucking calls, and you're just like, well, just fucking block them. I'm like, what? Like, you know, you could block them. You got a fucking iPhone. And I'm just be like, oh, yeah. But then I felt kind of guilty. And I was just like, I don't know. Like, they don't leave voicemails. I don't know what the fuck this is. So I started blocking them. And then you're right. The fucking thing changes the number. But it says, like, the same city, but it's a different fucking number. So right. I guess reading the article, the robokiller says it gets the technology to stop this shit, right?
Right. Like you mentioned, you'll get a phone number. Let's say it ends with 0123, and you block it. The next day you'll get a call from 0214. You know, like the next numerical number,
right.
because these robots, telemarketers that call you, they have hundreds of numbers and they just keep going down the line until they finally get through to you to sell you whatever they're going to sell you, to scam you and steal whatever they're going to steal from you. So yeah, this app is supposed to stop all that, and hopefully it'll work, man. If it works as good as it's claiming that it will, I wouldn't be opposed to paying $25 a year to stop all these calls, because I do get them, man. Sometimes it's Comcast looking for their late payment that I didn't give them, so I need to block all those.
You can't just be like an asshole. Go, hey, stop calling me. I'm gonna hang up now. Bye. Like, I always wonder why people say that. Why they just fucking hang up. You know, I'm willing to hang up now. Please stop calling me, and then they hang up. And I'm like, man, you're such a nice person when you're trying to hang up. Just fucking hang up, man.
I do gotta admit, I do have a somewhat soft spot for people in that profession. When I walk down Menards and there's the guy trying to sell me DirecTV or whatever it is that they're trying to sell, I do give them at least 2-3 minutes to sit there, listen to their pitch, and then just tell them, sorry, I'm not interested. I'm not one of those kind of people. Yeah, I'm not the people that kind of just keep walking and ignore them. It's a very tough profession. It's tough finding jobs, so I'll at least let that person have some type of confidence that he talked to me, and I told him no instead of just blowing him off and not giving him even the time of day.
I found out that's my advice to you people this week. Whoever go to the Costco's or the Menards, people selling you fucking the cable or the DirecTV, I'll never forget it. It was like I fucking had an awe-inspiring moment. This guy, we're walking into Costco, and they're there, the DirecTV people or AT&T, whatever the hell it's called now. They're like, oh, can we talk to you? And the guy goes, look, man, I cut the cord. And then people just backed the fuck down, and they literally walked away. And I was just like, man, I just learned something. Like, that's what. So every time I walk, everybody pitching TV. Hey, can I talk to you about TV? I cut the cord, and I just walk away. And the guy just puts his head down, and he turns around and goes to his next sucker. That's the three, the 3 words. I cut the cord, and they'll leave you the fuck alone.
Right. Yeah, that usually does work for the TV companies, and even those people with like sidings and stuff for your house. Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't tell them I cut the cord because that excuse probably won't work.
I just walk away. Yeah.
No.
There was some people selling in the electric at Menards. Like, I cut the cord. Where's the electric? I cut the cord, man. I just walk away. And they were like, what an asshole, And the guy just puts his clipboard down. Like, I don't think he understood. I'm like, yeah, fuck you, dude. I don't want to deal with your bullshit.
No. I at least give them the chance to get their 2 sentences out for their sales pitch. And then after that, I'll tell them something like, yeah, I rent. I'm sorry, I don't pay for the house. Or like you said, if it's some kind of internet or cable company, I'll tell them, hey, I pay $10 a month. Can you beat that? And they're like, oh no, I'm sorry. Have a good day. And then I just walk away. So yeah, but I feel bad, man. It's a hard profession being a salesman, especially cold calls like that, where you're just walking up to people who are not interested most of the time and trying to entice them in. They call those cold calls. And it's difficult, man. It's difficult to do those. You have to really have a knack. But if you had that knack, you'd probably have a better sales job. So I feel bad for people like that are working up and trying to get sales, to try to get paid, feed their families.
No shit. Then I went to Menards. I think the Comcast people were there. And this guy was working on this lady for I think 40 minutes, because me and my wife were walking around looking for something, and then she's like, oh, I need to pick up this a toaster or something in the back by the electrical. And we were already by the front, so we walked all the way back, and we're already at the store for 4 minutes. That guy was still working on that lady for whatever Comcast deal she was trying to hook him up with. And I'm just thinking, I wanted to just hang out to see if this fucking guy could close the deal, because he had that lady literally then 40 minutes, I swear. 40 minutes. and he had like this pamphlet out, and he had all these channels, like, so I don't know what the hell he was telling her, but he kept her talking, and I'm thinking, what happens if this lady just goes, fuck this, I'm out of here? But I have a feeling like he signed her up.
Right. Yeah, I feel bad for those two where they really invest a lot of time into it, and then at the end of it, they're like, sorry, no, I'm not interested. So those got to be disheartening as well.
Yeah, it's an act, of you got to be patient, because a lot of people are just like, fuck this, or they just burn you off, like, leave me the fuck alone, and then they just walk away.
Right. Yeah, you really have to have a really good sales voice, or a really, in our case, good podcast voices to keep all these people listening in. And speaking of listening in, we'd like to thank you all for listening and tuning in. Like Andy mentioned at the top, we'd like to remind you of our Facebook and Twitter at FreeForm Network. Send in those questions, ffnquestions@gmail.com. We're going to have a podcast soon with some of these emails that we've been getting in, because we have been getting in a few. Visit our webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. Hit that like and subscribe button for wherever you're viewing or listening to this podcast, whether it's on YouTube, Stitcher, or any of the other podcast service providers. But thank you again for tuning in. I got my co-host here, Andy.
I cut the cord, man. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We'll talk to you next time, guys.
And for Daniel, we'd like to thank you once more for tuning in. Have a great week, guys.
That was cool, Dad.